I'd like to introduce Connor Graham. Connor is a site reliability engineer with a dogmatic approach to automation and desperately craves to create environments where engineers can safely merge a change to production before going on a 1-hour sushi lunch. Seriously, folks, he craves it more than the sushi lunch itself. One of these days, he'll automate himself out of a job, but until then, he's here to share the magic of DevOps and SRE with all of us. Connor, floor is yours. Take it away.
Great, thanks. Couple pieces of housekeeping before we get started. First, all the code I'm going to be showing and going over today is available in a public repository under Connor Graham /macOS-Ansible. If you want to be my very first star, that would be great. If not, that's okay too. Second, if you don't really care about Ansible or not interested in learning about Ansible today, you're not going to hurt my feelings. If you're here to listen to one of the other excellent talks, that's great. If that is the case, I have prepared this little cat in the bottom left corner for you. He likes to swipe at my mouse cursor and I can throw a ball. So for all those folks, enjoy the cat. For everyone else, Ansible is primarily an IT automation framework. You can describe a state that you want to exist on a server or a fleet of servers. That state is described using YAML files. And then once you apply Ansible to these servers, it will ensure that the servers are reflective of that desired state. Two very powerful concepts within Ansible is its inventory management. It works very well when you're running against a single server, but it can scale up to literally thousands of servers. So you can ensure that fleets, like thousands of servers, are all compliant and aligned with the state that you're trying to describe. The second powerful feature of Ansible is its idempotency and module framework. So why Ansible is so great at managing state is it will do a check and only change or what has actually changed in your spec since the last time you ran Ansible. So that makes it very performant. And there is a wealth of Ansible modules available you can find on Ansible's site. If you look on the right here, this is an alphabetical list. You see I'm just getting to B's, C's. There are, I don't know, let's just call it hundreds, I don't know, maybe 1,000 plus. There's a lot of modules here for any sort of thing you're looking to try and do. Whether you're trying to copy files over for deployments, if you're looking to try and like add users, adjust file permissions, install base packages like the version of Node you want to run or something like that, all of these things are possible with Ansible. Today, to demonstrate Ansible for you, I don't have a fleet of servers prepared. So I'm going to be using my laptop as both the machine that is running Ansible, as well as the destination server I'm trying to manage. To accomplish that, this is my entry point into Ansible. The nomenclature is a playbook, and I'm going to run it against localhost, which is me. I am going to include a series of roles. A role is similar to like a function or a class. It's just a way to encapsulate Ansible instructions into logical groups. So you can see I have a role called homebrew cask, one called homebrew, git, nginx, and profile. Those all correspond to directories within my repository. Looking at the first one, homebrew cask, there is a tasks directory under the role directory. This is the entry point for a role. I go in here and I'm using the homebrew cask module. So sure enough, on the right, I can search for homebrew cask. Go in here and I can see all the parameters that it accepts to run homebrew for me under the hood. Hopefully it's pretty human readable here. I'm trying to install Visual Studio Code and ensure it is present. Same thing with Google Chrome. Zoom, I don't want, so I'm actually uninstalling it whenever I run this. Docker, Slack, Spotify, just like all the applications I want to have running on my machine. So on the right, sure enough, I can run Ansible playbook, CLI, and run playbook.yaml, which is pointing to this right here. So this OK statement is telling me that it's not changing anything. It's just going through and ensuring that my laptop's state aligns with the state I've described in all of my roles. So that's Homebrew Caskets going through. Then it's going to go through Homebrew, which is going to do the same thing and install a bunch of CLIs for me. It's very powerful in that if I want to move over to a new laptop or if I want to uninstall something when I'm done with it, I've got a very clean representation of my state stored in this repository. Sure enough, I can go into Git and you can see I'm setting my global Git config, my name, my email, all that good stuff. Nginx, just installing Nginx, and then Profile, I think, is a pretty cool one to dive into as closing thoughts. There's some other directories under my Profile role. There are files and handlers. Files are as if I'm interested in copying a file over. For instance, the way I have my terminal set up, the theming, the bash prompt, all that good stuff, I have stored in files here. I have got my bash prompt file. And I have a task that is copying my bash prompt file from here to within my home directory on my machine. Lastly, it's calling this notify load profile. A notify statement allows you to hook into various event handlers. So if one of these statements actually run because I have changed this source file, it will trigger this notification, which will run this handler that just reloads my dot profile. This is so I don't need to exit and recreate all my terminal sessions when I do in fact make a change. To demonstrate that, I'm just going to go to my dot profile. I'm going to add a couple new lines and we're going to run this again. And while we're waiting, let's just throw some more balls at the cat. Ansible is it's very lightweight. All you need to run on the host machine is the Ansible CLI itself, which uses Python under the hood. And on any servers you're trying to run Ansible against, you literally only need Python because Ansible does some magic under the hood. It SSHs onto the server. It compiles or transforms all the statements into Python and it runs that on the destination machine. We're almost there. Okay, so we can see that's all I wanted to demonstrate. It picked up that my .profile file has changed, and at the very end, it triggered that handler to reload my .profile, and that's why it has changed of 2. I can show you what my .profile looks like, and it has those extra new lines added in. Okay, and that's a brief overview of Ansible. Any questions, hit me up in Batovi Community Slack.